Hey, it's Tuesday. It's election day. Maybe not in your state, maybe not in your city, but obviously a lot of attention, a lot of media attention and coverage of 9 states, 11 cities, a lot on the ballot, a lot going on here, and a lot of attention for New York City's awful, awful mistake. If the betting markets are correct, maybe later on I'm going to have to do an emergency podcast and say, whoa, hold on a second. Wait a minute, everybody. Everything's changed. New York all of a sudden came out in droves and voted to defeat the communist. That's probably not going to happen, though. But don't worry. These things, and this is, for Election Day all across the board, these things always come with a counter effect. I'm going to give you today, we're going to focus on the positive. That's right, the positive. You're going to call me crazy at first, but then listen, hear me out. 3 good things that are going to come from New York City's awful decision. 3 good things. And I'll give them to you right now, then I'll explain. The first thing is the shutdown's going to end now. Yep. I'll tell you exactly why this is all tied into Election Day. Why we went through this shutdown for a month now. I'll tell you exactly why that is. And the guy that revealed it and gave up their game plan was the guy who was about to be elected mayor of New York City. He said it last night. Proof positive. That. Second thing is, because of what we're learning about the New York City elections, this is the strongest advertisement in history for voter ID. You watch the support nationally for voter ID to go through the roof, and it was already strong. I mean, among all voters, independents, Republicans, Democrats, it was over 60% in support of voter ID. You watch it now. I don't predict things, but I will guarantee that support for voter ID goes through the roof on this now, because now we're all aware of it. And the third thing is, the third good thing to come from Election Day today and some awful, awful decisions is the return of the that's right, plastic shopping bag. And you're thinking, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Oh, do not ever discount what they used to see as small voting issues. But the guy that's running for governor in New Jersey, wait till you hear him talk about this. They're starting to understand the small, little detailed things we live through every single day in our personal lives that actually matter to us. We'll get to all of it. Thanks for finding the live stream and the podcast. Wicked Radio is here. All platforms, all live streams, all that good stuff, and also the audio podcast wherever you like to get them. Let's get to it first. We got to talk about New York City, obviously. Zohran Mamdani. First of all, here's the first good thing. It's actually 3.5 good things, because this is starting to pick up steam now, too. It's very important, and I'll replay what the president said on his 60 Minutes interview just the other night on how to correctly identify this guy. And they're getting smart in very quickly. Every time the media tries to tell you he's not a communist, he's a democratic socialist. First of all, they don't know what that is, and they don't know what the difference is. And now the politicians and other media people, now it's important for you and me and regular people to start to correct that every time you hear it. First of all, a little rewind, a little refresher of the President Trump quickly identifying this the other night on 60 Minutes. Remember
Zohran
this?
Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the front
communist, not socialist, communist. He's
very important. And now all the other, you can call them Trump surrogates, whatever it is. All the other politicians are starting to do the same thing. Byron Donalds may become, maybe, the next governor of Florida. Did an interview on CNN last night, did the exact same thing. He went a little step further and he said, okay, you want to disagree with me? You define exactly what the difference is.
When you put in communist and, yes, communist policies, that's what Zohran Mamdani is talking about.
He's not a communist.
It never
Democratic
works.
Socialist. He says he's a Democratic
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can describe
Explain what the difference is.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite well. You have an economic background.
It's important to realize there, she has no idea what the difference is. She was just told by her DNC masters not to define it and to make sure you correct him. No, it's democratic socialist. No, it's not a communist. It's very important for all of us. Every time you hear anybody parodying that line, to correct them immediately. No. Communist. For the entire term that this guy is in New York City, you need to identify that. Anybody. You're at a dinner party. So they have a Democrat socialist mayor in New York. No. They have a communist mayor. Always define it. Because that's how you define terms. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to redefine this, soften it up so it's a nice little acceptable, palatable, sellable policy for you to embrace for New Yorkers, right? By every definition of the word, Every single bit of it. This guy is a communist. You need to correct them. All right, let's get to it now. Let's get to exactly what's going on in New York City. This is why I think the first good thing is going to be, we're going to focus on the positive. The first good thing that's going to come out of New York City's awful, awful decision is a call nationally, and you're seeing it already happen, for voter ID. They don't have that in New York City. And they'll always try to tell you. What they try to tell you is, no, we ask for voter ID when you're registering, but when you get to the vote, because we don't want to restrict people's right to vote or their ability to vote, you don't have to provide ID there. It's already done in the registration process. Right. Because I'm sure everybody's showing up, coming up with a fake phony address is registered to vote legally and is a legal citizen of the United States, right? Yeah, no, don't buy that for a second. That's how we got to this point. But it's not just that. Let's find out what else is going on with the ballot here in New York City. Here is a story from just this morning.
After all the campaigning, it is finally time to vote, Robert. And as we look, a lot of people getting the ballots, but some people are kind of confused about what's going on this ballot.
Yeah, let's go through these ballots. First of all, a couple things to notice. You will see a couple of the candidates on here multiple times. So Zohran Mamdani appears twice on two different party lines, the Democratic Party line and the Working Families Party line. Same thing with Curtis Sliwa. He too appears twice, once on the Republican line and once on the Protect Animals line. If you want to vote for either of these candidates, only fill in one of the circles. It's not like if you fill in two Mamdani circles or two Sliwa circles, you get two votes. No, just one vote, so just fill in one circle. Doesn't matter which of the parties you use, but fill in the circle for the candidate.
Guys, see, this is the just infuriating part. This is our biggest city. This is our media capital of the world. This is New York City. And they have to have news reports explaining to people the confusion of their ballot. And it's all by design, all of it. But again, that's okay. Now, you got a guy that's been all over this thing is Elon. Now, he's posted a bunch of different things about New York City. We'll get to his endorsement here in just a second. Just about 10 minutes ago, in real time here as we do the live stream, he posted this on his X account, which is the biggest in the world. New York City ballot is a scam. No ID is required. We already covered that. You and I did. Other mayoral candidates appear twice. Cuomo's name is last in the bottom right. And again, remember, all of this is by design. Now, the New York City local yokel news report there said, and they did clear it up, it's not like you get 2 votes for each one, but it's still confusing enough that this is unacceptable to actually exist there. Now, why is voter ID such a concern nationally for people? Because what I used to hear among my friend group and social group and family all the time was, voter ID in my county, my state, it's fine, it's secure, it's election. In Florida, I would hear this all the time. Now, we were the absolute laughingstock. Remember hanging chads in the 2000 election? Remember that one and all that crap? It's been so cleaned up that it's one of the most secure electoral states in the country now, so it can be done. But what you hear all the time now from my fellow Floridians now, all of us transplants, is, I don't care what the hell happens up there. Good, let them have screwed up elections. That doesn't affect me. That's starting to change. Now you're starting to see an issue, voter ID, national voter ID, and also local and state and everything, city ID, everything. There's never been more support for this. It was already among all voters, Democrat, Republican, Independent, into the high 60s in support. Now it's going to go through the roof because they saw exactly what happened in New York City and exactly what the counter effect was. That's the first good thing to come from New York City's awful, awful choice. So there is some positive in this because all of this stuff always has a counter effect. Now, going back to Elon for just a quick second, I thought he's been all over this one because why? He loves his country. Elon posts last night, remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis, Sliwa that is really a vote for Mumdummy or whatever his name is. Vote Cuomo. All right. And you've all heard about that election. Curtis Sliwa, the actual Republican, has about 16% support, and he's not dropping out. So the vote is split there, which is probably, most likely, and something dramatic happens, going to lead to Mamdani, the communist, being elected. So Elon is not the only one advocating for Cuomo, and this is an interesting thing because we all know Cuomo is a staunch Democrat in the old form, and we all know that his awful handling of COVID got a lot of people killed as governor of New York. We know that. So it takes a lot for somebody like Elon and President Trump to actually endorse Cuomo in order to try their best to save New York, but they're doing it. This is Stephen Miller talking about the president's statement last night.
Tonight, Sean, is obviously all about turnout. Republican voters need to show up. They need to turn out. Regardless of what happens in New Jersey, that is a stunningly close race for a deep blue state. As far as New York is concerned, as you've talked about, as we've said, unfortunately, the anti-Mamdani vote is being split between Cuomo and Sliwa. And President Trump tonight put out a statement being clear that if you vote for Sliwa, who's polling at about a third of where Cuomo is, you're just throwing your vote away. The anti-Mamdani vote, which is really the pro-New York City vote, the pro-America vote, needs to unite behind the leading candidate, and that's Andrew Cuomo. Now, Virginia...
Will it? Odds are against it, but maybe. But that's where we are, and this goes back to the voter ID issue again. It's gotten so bad that you actually have staunch Republicans endorsing Cuomo in order to defeat Mamdani the communist. What a freaking mess. But again, remember, first good thing, voters support for voter ID will never, ever be higher. It's about to go through the roof. Here's the second good thing. I think our shutdown's about to end. And I think I thought this the entire time that this was all related to this election and election day, and that was confirmed last night by none other than the guy that's about to be the first communist mayor of New York City. Listen to what Mamdani says on CNN.
Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like his, we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that...
And all of us should be saying the exact same thing at the exact same time. Doesn't it all make sense now? Would it shock you one iota if this government shutdown ended? All of a sudden, the 60-vote threshold was broken. Now that tomorrow happens, Thursday, most likely Friday, now that they've got their results on the election, because the entire plan, as he just laid out right there before everybody, the night before the election, was exactly this. So chaos, so, division. They tried that whole line about, president's creating his own ballroom and while people are starving and they're going to take SNAP benefits away from all these people. And by people, they mean illegal immigrants. That's why they needed that vote. They needed to sow chaos and confusion in a big market, in a big city, an election like New York City, to make sure that there's change voted in. And this is why you need to vote this communist in. All of this should start to make sense to you now. I would bet a lot of money that this ends this week. I would bet a lot. Again, no guarantees, and a lot can still happen, but wouldn't that be amazing? So there's your second good thing that's going to come out of this chaos. This stupid shutdown is about to end, finally. But, again, what's the other result of that? So many people looked into this because we all dealt with it for a month. And I know there's a lot of people saying, it's like, well, that thing didn't affect me at all. Yes, it does. Yes, it does affect you. When it goes 3 or 4 weeks, it does affect you one way or the other, indirectly or directly. That's the second good thing that's going to happen. That stupid government shutdown is about to end. And more people are aware of what in behind it, so you're smarter for the next time it comes around. Now, right there, it's not only New York City. Let's get out of there for a second. Stephen Miller said it right there. It's 9 states. It's 11 cities that have Election Day. One of those big ones is happening in New Jersey. Gubernatorial race happening here. Jack Ciattarelli is, I think I pronounced his name correctly. He's the Republican candidate in New Jersey. First of all, here's another sign that things have changed. This thing is neck and neck, apparently. We know that President Trump got a lot of votes in New Jersey in November of 24. But a Republican mayor, maybe, in the state of New Jersey? That may happen. So that kind of changes something that's a lot different than before. But here's what else is different. When was the last time you actually heard on a national stage any candidate anywhere, and they all copy each other, talk about the kinds of seemingly small issues, but really do affect our day-to-day lives? This one's a little bit lighter, but no less important. This election may bring the return of something we've all clamored for. Now, through the past 10, 12, 15 years, we've all had to bow down to the climate nuts and the enviro nuts and tell us that what's ruining the earth are plastic straws and plastic bags. Common sense, and this is the surest sign of all, common sense is starting to return in all these elections. And now you got gubernatorial candidates in a major state like New Jersey talking about it. This is good news for everybody. Never discount how important something like this is.
Watch this one. And the best part of my energy master plan, at the supermarket, you can have back your plastic bags. It amazes me. I say I'm going to lower taxes. I get this nice little round of applause. I say I'm bringing back the plastic bags. It brings down the house every single time.
But he's right. I mean, as funny as that is, and he's exactly right to point that out, how many of us have all looked at that thing? And I know plastic bags versus paper bags isn't the biggest issue in the world, but we all had to deal with it. Like the plastic straw thing, like all the other inconveniences in life, bit by bit by bit, they've thrown at us time and time again, and the politicians just ignored it. Well, you heard the crowd in New Jersey right there go insane when he even mentioned the idea that you can bring back plastic bags because every study has shown that it had zero environmental impact. Most of them are recycled anyway. People matter. Now, if a politician like that is paying attention to an issue that seemingly used to be small like that, the Democrats are going to start to do it too, and little issues like that freaking matter. What is it? What's the takeaway? What does it actually mean? They're finally starting to listen to people. In my own opinion, I think that's because we all have a voice now. Everybody has a social media account. You're starting to get these things heard. That information finally gets to these politicians, and change in our daily lives finally start to happen. Don't ever discount the importance of something that used to seem small, like plastic bags. It's not, and they're finally starting to understand that. So there is positive. You may be down in the dumps about this stuff. You've got people who live in New York, and you're afraid of what's coming because it is going to be pretty much a nightmare scenario. These things always have a counter effect. 3 different ways I'll give you right there, and I'm sure there's going to be more. The support for voter ID is going to go through the roof. I'm telling you, this shutdown is going to end. It will, after this stupid election. And number 3, the return of the plastic bag in states like that. Finally. There's always good news. These things always have a counter effect. So we'll see what happens. Hey, maybe I'm on here in 24 hours from right now talking about an amazing turnaround in New York City. And I can't believe we'd actually be celebrating Cuomo winning an election. But whatever. Maybe that'll happen. Odds are against it, but you never know. But remember, these things always have a positive counter effect. All right. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. I'm out of material. Let's go see what happens. And hopefully we don't have to talk about politics someday. Hopefully tomorrow we're talking about the nearing end of this shutdown. That would help everybody too. Thanks for finding the podcast everywhere you get them. Audio podcasts too. Favorite platform. Just remember on Spotify you have to press follow. The other ones are subscribe. And that's all the platforms. And then like, follow, share. You know the deal. But more importantly, remember, think about the positive effects. Make it a wicked awesome Tuesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.